So here we are, Gospel of Fire with, man, I had to step the game up a little bit. It's my first recording. This is our second podcast together, Alistair. How are you?
Our second podcast?
Yeah, you don't remember, huh?
Oh, a long time ago.
Long time ago at Cowboys. Talk a little louder for me. Cowboy, at his ranch, and we had some fun.
Yeah, but that's like so long ago.
Yeah. So you were down in Albuquerque at that time, and I don't know, there was a bunch of us. Cowboy was the host, and you and I were like sitting there. And
so what were you doing back there?
I was going to coach Cowboy, and then I didn't coach Cowboy. Okay. Cowboy and I have a long relationship, but he ghosted me on that one. Okay. But then it all worked out, no problems. I still like Cowboy. Now he's fighting Gaethje. So, man, you're the Reem, bro. How did you get to the Reem? Where did this all start for you? Like, but I don't like, man, look, everyone knows who you are. We don't got a K-1 champ, Strikeforce champ. Sure, great. How did the Reem get to be the Reem? Where did this start for you as a child?
So, throughout the years, I don't know, maybe the last couple of years, I gave that a lot of thought. A couple of things triggered me a lot. Number one, I just really like the sport out there, right? Otherwise, you don't put so much years, hours, minutes, blood, sweat, and tears literally into it. And then comes the other part. I really don't like the alternative. And for me, what would that alternative be? That would have been a 9-to-5 job.
Okay.
That would have been really difficult for me. And I was born, parents divorced when I was 5.
Parents divorced when you were 5?
Yeah, so then I was born in England.
Born in England?
Yeah, my brother was born in Holland, and then my parents...
Who's older?
My brother's older, okay. Then my parents got married. Then I was born in England.
Okay.
Then parents divorced when I was 5. So I actually grew up in England. But then when 5, we moved back to the Netherlands. Actually, me, my mother, and my brother. And then I became Dutch more. A slight difference. And I'll just put this off. Boom. And okay, so then we were struggling. It was financially not great. Not a huge family, small family, but we were kind of coping. But then there was 2 big reasons, right? 2 big influence on me. Number one, I started working real early. I had a paper job when I was 13. I always kind of made my own money. And my brother was doing kickboxing and doing mixed martial arts.
Okay.
And I could kind of see
when were you? You're my age, right? 39?
I'm 39. I think you're a little bit older.
When were you born? What's your birthday?
May 17.
1980?
Yes.
Yeah, you're 2 months older than me.
Okay. So, back to the story. So, my brother was kind of fighting. He was working the door. He had a little bit of his money. He was like a little bit free spirit. And on the other hand, there was like the 9-to-5 that everybody's doing, right? Everybody's going to school and going to... And I just really did not see that for myself. I just really kind of saw my brother as an example. He was just training and kind of doing what he wanted, kind of more freedom. And to me, that was, I wanted that too. So I just followed a little bit in his footsteps. I started training when I was 13. Initially, he took me to the gym.
Your brother took you to the gym?
Yeah. To the gym with all these big wrestler guys.
I might have fucked up. Can you go look at that screen real fast? Get up. Look at that screen. Come stand on this camera. Get up. Stand up. Make sure there's a red dot. Can you see a red dot? Keep going.
Screen.
Cut this if I have to. Did I fuck that up? No, we're good. Yep, perfect. Like I said, motherfuckers, my first time. I gotta make sure I hit record. So he takes you to the gym.
Takes me to the gym.
Did he beat you up at all yet?
Oh yeah, my brother was tough on me, but his main message was you need to learn how to defend yourself.
And how much older is your brother than you?
He's like 3.5 years older.
3.5 years older. Okay, same as my kids.
Yeah,
same difference.
Yeah. So his message was more discipline, and you need to learn to defend yourself. That was basically. Okay. I mean, it was. So that's how it started. I mean, yeah, okay. I had a lot of energy. I was a little bit of a rebel. You know, you're pissing around in the street. You're climbing trees.
What were you into before that? Before 13? Like, did you like sports? What did you do?
I was very athletic, but my mother didn't really guide
Closer
that.
to the mic.
My mother didn't really guide that. That is more in part because my grandmother was raised real religious.
Okay.
With a lot of rules, and then.
Are you still religious?
I'm not. I never was.
You never were.
I never.
But your mom had, like, obviously your mom.
No, it was actually my grandmother was raised real religious, so
Okay.
she kind of stepped away from that, and then my mother was raised kind of like liberal.
Okay.
And then that carried on into me.
So it wasn't put on you.
No.
Okay.
No. To me, it's more like whatever, no rules.
Right. What religion?
Which is
like,
also not good. It would be Christianity.
Christian.
Yeah, it would be Christianity.
So you're athletic, but you're not like in any organized sports or anything like that.
No. I did a little basketball. Didn't like basketball. A little bit athletics. But a lot of energy. Pissing around in the street.
Sure.
Running
How about
around.
your relationship with your dad? What was that like at the time?
When I was 13?
Yeah, it's like up until that point.
Okay, so it was so. So he actually lived in Holland. He moved with us. So age 5 to, I think, 12 or 13 he was. And then he actually moved back to England
Okay.
to start a business. So he actually left us because England, Holland, I mean, it's not far. It's like 1 hour flight, but still it's a distance, right? You're not going to see each other. So he actually moved away. And then,
So you're not seeing him every week now at this point.
oh, definitely. I never really saw him every week. It was like once a month,
Okay.
a week and a month,
A weekend a month.
a week and a month.
Okay.
Yeah. And relationship was, I mean, how good is your relationship when you see each other a week a month?
Yeah,
right?
not good.
No. So, okay, where was I?
You're like 13 now.
Yeah, 13. So I just followed my dreams basically and
Okay.
my wants. And I wanted to train. I kind of saw my brother as an example. And I just wanted to fight as well. He was fighting in Japan when I was 19. Then I was 15. I wanted to fight in Japan. And I was also 19 when I had my first fight in
Kickboxing you wanted to fight, or did you want to fight MMA?
No, it was MMA, straight away MMA. And
Okay.
I was training wrestling from 13 years old.
Okay.
Of course, it was kind of funny. I was like a skinny, young kid, no technique. But the older guys, they kind of thought it was funny. Hey, young kid. Okay, let's just get him in. So it started 13 years old. Then 15, renewed focus. My brother was going to Japan. I wanted to go to Japan. Then 17 then I had my first kickboxing fight. I did kickboxing fights for 2 years first, 17 to 19. And then when I was 19, I did a stand-in. Somebody got injured.
Oh, you filled in. Yeah.
I filled in. And it was against a seasoned opponent. And I beat him. A guy who already fought in Japan, who already had some fight of the nights back in that time, which is like totally different than now.
So 19, we're talking 1999.
Yeah. Yeah. So 97 was my first,
was your first kickboxing.
fight. And these are kind of would be considered amateur fights now.
Right.
But I see them as a real fight. I mean, when you're 17 years old and you're fighting a 28-year-old, and it's in your own hometown, and the whole city is there, and you're the little brother of.
Right.
So the little brother of, so that people want to see blood, right? They want to see some action.
Sure.
So it's a real fight. It was a real defining moment. If you lose that first fight, everything is different, right?
Right.
So, but
man, they call so I was on The Ultimate Fighter, right? They don't count those fights on your record, and you're like, fuck you, dude. I got into a fight. It was 5 minutes. You know,
one round of 5 minutes.
No, it was 3 rounds of 5 minutes.
3 rounds.
All the rules the
fight?
same. It's a fight.
Yeah.
You know, it's a fight. You know, like, what do you want me to say?
And
like,
it's a defining moment, right? The Ultimate Fighter, same. I mean, if you're not gonna perform there, it's over.
Right, dude. My first Ultimate Fighter fight. So we had to fight to get in the house. So mine was kind of fucked up. I didn't know this at the time. I was fighting one of the best friends, a family friend of the producer. You know, so when I went to cut weight, I asked for a scale in my room, in my hotel room, because you're by yourself, because I did it in a bathtub. Well, dude, they never brought the scale, right? So I just cut.
You cut too much.
I cut way too much for a 205-pound fight. Like, dude, at one point I was just like laying in the hallway because I was like passing out. I was 193 for a 205-pound fight. Like 12 pounds too much. Because like you don't know. And if you miss,
then it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
So then we go the next day, we fight. I'm fucked up, right? Because
did too much.
I did too much. I beat the fucking piss out of this kid. Like, his face is a mess. Like, because it was like, you go to the third round, like, and I don't know how we went to the third round, but whatever, we went to the third round. And in the third round, I split his face open. Like, for 3 minutes. Like, they don't stop the fight. I mean, he's like barely standing at the end of the fight, and then they raise his hand. And I was like,
oh, serious?
What? Like, huh? Like, tough kid. Kudos to him for taking it. And then I was like, well, my career's over. Like what you just said, right? Like, you're like, this is your spot. This is your moment. But
how did that?
He couldn't fight. The commission, the doctor suspended him.
So
right?
Then you advanced.
His face was over here. Like, so, I mean, it was obvious who won the fight.
But it's a real fight.
It's a real fight.
I mean, with all that carnage, blood.
Yeah, go ask him if he got into a fight.
Nothing to see here. Nothing happened. No.
Right?
So these are real fights, and okay. So MMA, of course, Ultimate Fighter is going to be a little bit more rigid than kickboxing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're talking.
But I mean, there was real strikes thrown, and everything can happen, right? It's a real walkout. It's a defining moment. Yeah, a fight is a fight.
Now here we are.
Here we are. Indeed.
Now here we are. We're sitting in my office.
22 years
22
later.
years later.
And basically, I just kept going. I never thought I would become a world champion when I started. I just followed my intuition. I just followed, hey, let's go do this. For me, it was real difficult. Of course, when I was younger, I had some jobs, and I just found time went real slow, and I just couldn't do it.
So why are you still doing it, man?
Because 2 reasons. Number one, I'm good at it.
Okay.
And number two, 3 reasons actually. Number two, so number one, I'm good at it. Number two, what else would I do with my time, right? I really enjoy doing this.
Right. Okay.
I'm good at it. I love it. And number 3 is what else would I do?
Okay.
I mean,
because you don't need the money anymore, right? Like you're. I mean, like, look, we can all use more money, but you're okay. Like, I'm okay. Like, yeah. I mean, I have no clue how much money you actually have, right? But like, you seem, we've talked about it a little bit. You're fine. You're the Reem, right?
I'm a conservative when it comes to money. I don't really talk about it. I don't really show off. To me, it's really important to stay sober, to live sober. There's so many examples.
What do you mean by live sober? What's that mean?
I mean, like, for example, my brother is precisely opposite.
Okay.
So that's kind of funny. He was a big example of how to do things, and later he became an example of how to not to do things.
Did he make good money?
He's made money, yes.
Like fighting?
Yeah, he made some money, yes. Okay. But he kind of, new car, watch, bought a house. He lived beyond his means, and I can kind of see where it went wrong.
Which is what a lot of fighters do.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. A lot of athletes, a lot of fighters.
Hold on. Everyone does it. Well, that's why there's credit cards, right? Yeah. Like that's what it is. We all like to put things on credit, live beyond our means. And
yeah. So in Holland, it's a little bit more difficult to live on credit, but still, I mean, I guess it's his personality. He would make good money, and then it would already kind of been spent before he got it. Mm-hmm. So that became really a learning point for me to.
So he was like your model at first, and then kind of an opposite model.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Are you guys still close?
Yeah, we're all right. We're all right. Could be better.
Right.
If it was up to me, it would be better. But
okay. It's not up to you?
Nah, like he's sometimes a little bit difficult. I mean, I still love him.
Of course.
I mean, the love is there, but he's difficult.
Right.
And he probably says exactly the same about me.
Same thing about you, sure.
So who's difficult? Yeah.
This is what we do, man. So if this is too much, this is what I do. I try to show like. So my message is, one, find your power, and the way I think people can find their power is that one of the things that they need to see, in my opinion, is that somebody like you, who's ultra successful, millions of followers around the whole world, like everywhere you go, but you still have like a normal life, man, right? You have a brother who, like you just said, you wish it would be a little better. He wishes it would be the same. Like, it wasn't perfect for you. You rolled up, right? You rolled up. I thought your wife and kids were coming, and I'm looking in your car and I'm not seeing them, right? But then I look in the back and your wife is holding one of them asleep, right? And you still got to handle like dad stuff, white husband stuff. Like, so this is like the more we see ourselves as the same, you know, I think that's going to help each individual sometimes be like, okay, all right, yeah, all right, I can do what it is that I want to do. Look, no one's going to be Alistair, okay? They don't have 20 years of 30 years of this experience in their life. You know, they're not going to be you, but they can find their power.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
And I think some of the rules is, you know, I think with me, what's really important is the people that I surround myself with. That has a huge impact on me. So
I'm a fan of Remco.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Remco talks so easy, bro.
Great guy, but also Danielle. You know, my life partner.
Right.
She's great. And they keep me humble and keep me normal. Because if you have other people around you and
Alistair.
Then you start floating around, right?
You can start to believe it, right?
And in my 26 years training, 22 years competing, we have had those moments.
Of course.
And my energy would have been different. And I don't know, just really found... even when I started moving to the States, when I joined Black Stallions, everything was different, right? And I think I had to crash down a little bit. That kind of makes you humble again. And you have to figure it out again, and we do that. And right now I feel real comfortable. I feel real comfortable with my circle, real comfortable here in Denver. Great guys, great people. And I don't know, just put in the work, right? And just keep going.
Right. How did you do that? How did you find, like when you say you're real comfortable with your circle? Because, I mean, like...
That takes time.
That takes time, right? Because, come on, man. There's got to be a lot of people that want to be in your circle.
Well, yes, they do, but you just become really good at saying no. And I was always kind of good at saying no, but in the beginning you don't kind of realize what you're getting into with people, right? For example, management-wise... managers are, I mean, I'm sure you have experience, but they can be a pain, and they're not going to let you go, right? They're going to kind of stick around.
Well, they're not in it for you for the most part.
No, exactly.
They're in it for them.
Exactly. So that takes the time to figure that out and to weed that out. That's another one.
I will say that these guys that we're working with right now, Ballinger Group, Corey has them, Curtis is with them, Austin.
Listen, there's good people, there's bad people everywhere.
They've been amazing so far,
but it just takes time to figure it out and to weed it out. Far.
Yeah,
right. Because in the beginning, when you start, I mean, I didn't have my parents think with me, right? They were just like, okay, do your own thing. So I had to figure it out myself, and then I kind of have my circle in Holland, good people, and. But you're also not sometimes in a position to make those choices.
Right.
Right? I mean, in the beginning, I don't know which group you just mentioned. If they were around in 1997, great. But they were probably not.
Oh, no. They just got in the game here.
Exactly.
They're from baseball.
Exactly. So they're fresh, they're new. And it is a different climate now with the UFC who's kind of cleaned up the sport, right? They kind of eliminated a lot of...
Well, most managers, right? Back in the day, it was your friend... you know, let's say, who gave you a sponsorship. And then he's like, oh, I'll manage you. I'll get you some more. And then, it's, excuse me, most of the time that didn't work out,
Well,
and then you got shady dudes in who saw the cash of it, in the affliction days.
Yeah.
Like when everyone, I don't know, in the UFC, shit, man, you hit a main card, that was 100 G's. And it's amazing to finish this a little bit positive. Mm-hmm. How the UFC cleaned it up, right? So we have to not forget that. Are you a fan of it?
Of the UFC?
Of the Reebok deal and stuff like that. That's how they cleaned it up.
UFC is going to do what UFC is doing, but I'm just very proud to be a part of the organization that has become this big, because the Reebok deal had disadvantages, right?
Of course.
It had disadvantages for everybody. But on the other hand, you have to go back to before, because I get that a lot. Yeah, people complain about Reebok, they complain about UFC, but before you had Pride, you had Strikeforce, you had all these other organizations. Where are those organizations now?
They're gone.
Exactly. Why are they gone?
The UFC bought them.
Because...
They sucked.
No, they were kind of cool. Pride was cool.
Okay. No, they sucked the organization running of them. They didn't suck the events. Pride events were amazing. But it was run by the Yakuza.
They
right?
did not have the global strategy and the global branding machine that the UFC has.
You see that? You put that much better than me. I said they sucked, and you were like, you turned that well. Yeah. They didn't have the strategy. They didn't have the vision.
Yeah, there was. I mean, Pride had great shows, but they tried to come to USA. They did some other stuff, but it all in the end it just went.
Hey, can you put me in touch with the Pride lady? Do you have her? Do you know her?
Yeah, I do.
Alistair! Because I need an intro, bro. I need an intro. If I could pay her to make me an intro.
I actually have her on my Twitter somewhere.
All right.
I think I have her number somewhere.
Dude, that was amazing.
She's very cool. Very cool lady.
I miss those days.
Yeah. Have you ever attended an event?
And I never went to Pride. I went to Sengoku with Dwayne in Japan.
So that would be run by K-1.
Right.
Right, and that was significantly less.
Yes.
Pride was special.
Pride was special. I never got to do it. I never got to go to Pride.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, biggest events I fought for Chuck Liddell 2003, 88,000 people.
88,000,
yeah,
huh?
And it was very much still in the audience.
Yeah, that's like, dude, so I'm a loud coach, right?
You'll probably be banned. Yellow card.
Dude, no, I coached in Japan once, right, with Dwayne. It is silent. you can hear, I'm like, God damn, I'm screaming right now, you know?
Yeah, so. But amazing fans, right?
Yeah,
amazing fans. I mean, they'll make noise. They'll go crazy when the time is right.
When the time is right.
When they're in they love fighting.
Crazy. They love martial arts.
Yeah,
and fighting is part of martial arts. I feel like it's part of the culture.
Interesting development because my management there stated, and this is already a couple of years ago, that the television shows and they're basically in charge. They've decided to step away from MMA. So that's, I think, why Pride went kind of down, and also, there's no Dream, right? And they have Ryzen, I think, a couple shows a year, but it's not the same.
It's so weird with Ryzen, though, right? Because they put on these like fucking almost like crazy cockfights too, right? Like these huge. I mean, I guess Pride did it too. Pro wrestlers, mismatches, all kinds of crazy shit, you know. So that's I don't know. Like that's what's interesting about Japan, though.
So it's the same Pride staff. It's just a little bit smaller,
right?
Smaller scale. It's just less alive now. They have, of course, less talent,
right?
All the talent is we see.
I had Rich Franklin on a couple weeks ago because he's working with One. You know, what do you think about One? You know, they seem to have a global vision.
You know, seeing is believing.
Sure.
I just think UFC is 1,000 times bigger than all the other competitions.
Well, of course, yeah.
And, the way they cut out the shady managers, the way they're doing the USADA drug testing, they're doing a great job.
You know, I was against the USADA drug testing when John Jones got popped and was allowed to fight. And then I talked to Nowitzki, and Nowitzki explained it really well. And so I'm fine with it now. I really am. I wasn't okay. I was like, man, this is bullshit. And then how he explained it, how it went made sense.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think they're still figuring it out as it goes along, right? Because, of course, there's going to be gray area. But before, and then I'm talking the Pride days, it was just rampant. It was just like crazy, right? It
was rampant in the UFC during my days.
Yeah, but, and I'm not going to be, It is what it is. So
it's compete without it. It was simple.
So it's good that it's cleaned up now.
Right.
And it's actually a clean sport. You get random tested. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah,
I've cleaned up the sport, and the sport is there to stay. UFC is there to stay. All the other promotions, I don't know. Seeing is believing.
Yeah,
right?
UFC's not going anywhere.
Right, with the one championship. Yeah, I mean, which fighters do they have? Which division do they have? I don't really watch their events.
Yeah, me either.
But there are some Dutch fighters in there. I think Andy. They have some. Nicky Holsken had some good performances.
Right.
But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because everybody can put on a show, but can a promotion put on a show for 10 or 20 years? Or what is it? UFC's 25 years, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing that we argue about being a fighter, right? Everyone can go walk once. You're right? Like, come on, everyone's been in, most males have been in a street fight. They're like, oh, dude, I can fight.
Yeah, I think that's also one of the things that sets my career apart, because I've made that walk. Okay, so I have 90 fights altogether with the K-1 and with all the MMA. But even though literally I got my face smashed not once but several times, and I'm still handsome, but I keep coming back. I keep coming back stronger, and I think that's. How
do you do that?
Well, after a fight, you analyze, right? And after a win, you're analyzing less because, hey, your strategy worked, everything is cool, everybody's happy. But after a loss, I analyze harder, more.
But how do you not let it affect your soul? Because a lot of people let it affect their soul. Okay, let's just go it. The Ngannou fight. You look dead.
I died a couple of times. I guess I got 9 lives. Now, okay, so number one, when you get knocked out, I'm always asleep. I wake up. I wake up in the locker room. I mean, you're on autopilot when you walk out of the ring, whatever. And it's being knocked out is not a bad feeling in itself. I saw the footage later. I kind of did die in that fight. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm stubborn like that.
Maybe what?
I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
I think and to be a fighter, you have to actually be very stubborn. I think you are also very stubborn.
Yeah.
Right? So there has to be a real stubborn part. There has to also be a very open part. Not what is the opposite from stubborn?
You have to be intelligent as well.
Yeah, you got to figure it out again, right? Because you're going to crash. These big losses are crashes, and then you got to figure it out again. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it?
I don't think anybody's done it quite as well as you.
Well, because that's one of the things that I have. I have the ability to go 100% in a certain direction. And maybe that's the difference. Because, for example, my brother, crazy, he always smoked cigarettes during his career. He has always smoked. Like when he was fighting Big Nog in the finals in the King of Kings tournament, which was kind of like the biggest thing in 2001. He was smoking cigarettes right before he was going into the ring. He was lit one. And so, yeah, I don't know. I always have the ability. Of course, you're not going to smoke cigarettes. That's real bad. But, you know, you learn diet things. This is Elevation here in Denver. You know, be creative. Find new ways to beat opponents and just go for it. And I think, you know, after the Curtis loss, I have to really evaluate. I was sitting in my garden with 16 stitches in my forehead. And I was thinking, okay, what are we going to do? We want to fight. It's not going to be finished like this. So what are we going to do? Okay, the previous team, with all due respect, I'm still friends with everybody. Everybody's good, but it was just not functional. It was not working anymore. So what are we going to do? And back to Curtis. So we were actually talking before we fought.
The fight.
Yeah, about potentially, hey, let's train together sometime. Oh, yeah, cool. He was very polite. And Cody Donovan was with him. I had no idea Cody Donovan. I had no idea who his coaches were. I just thought, hey, Curtis, big guy. It would be nice for me to have some more big guys because I didn't really have that many big guys to train with. So I was sitting in my garden, 16 stitches. I was like, you know what? Let me just text him, see what's up. And I shot him a message. And yeah, I'm going to come to them. I'm going to check out some gyms. Are you cool with me coming to see what's up? He's like, oh, yeah, cool. Come by. I'll send you the address. And that's how the whole Denver thing got started. Right? I was still recovering from the fight.
Sure.
And yeah, so I came to Denver. Let's continue on that. Came to Denver. Didn't know what to expect. I just walked in the gym. Everybody was like, huh, weird.
It's always a little weird, right?
Yeah, it is actually.
Especially, man, like you're the Reem. So when you walk in a gym, everyone's like, "Oh shit, that's the Reem." Yeah,
and I can imagine for you guys, it must have been weird too because I'm by myself. It is weird, but I don't know. I really felt I need to do something, and I need to come alone also. Right, because I have friends, I have the former coaches, but that was not working. And I thought if I'm gonna figure out a new situation, I need to not bring them because that's gonna distort anything that's gonna come.
So I saw you a couple times in Albuquerque because I went down there with Cowboy, and so I'll admit I was hesitant a little bit because I would see everyone practicing, and then you would be practicing, and you had, I don't know, big tall Asian guy, you know, that was your partner, you know. And I was like, man, like we just don't do that. You know, like nobody comes here with us for a camp, like does their own camp. And I was like, I mean, like, and we all talked about it. And we were like, yeah, man, he can come and we can see how this works. But from what I've heard and what I've seen, like, it's probably not going to work.
Positive, Eliot. Now, but
you did it differently. You came, like you just said, you came by yourself.
Yeah, because the whole Albuquerque reality got formed also because of the people there, right?
I'm
the
sure,
coach,
yeah.
Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn, and the other coach there, and they're good people. But it was just not. I was not getting what I needed there. So I started flying in people, and then in the end, it was like I was flying in 12 people, coaches,
flying in everybody.
Yeah, and it was just like whole operation. Yeah, and it just turned out that way, and it was because I was not getting there what I needed. So I had to kind of improvise and step it up myself. It was not because I wanted to.
Of course,
who wants to fly in 12 people? Like all those flights, all those hotel rooms.
Expensive.
So, and then I came to here, and I was like, okay, I need to come by myself. And it was kind of funny. All the coaches were a little bit standoffish, very professional, I think, also. Because usually Alistair is there, and then, you know, the warm treatment is
Alistair,
there.
please, Alistair!
Yeah, which is something that is not good.
No.
It's not good. So to me that, yeah, you start from scratch and you just need to figure it out. And I was like, but I'm learning here. And that was the main thing. I was learning.
Right.
My receptors was like a light bulb went on, ping. And after I think 48 hours, I was like, this is the place I need to be. I had some other gyms that I wanted to have a look at. My attorney was talking about LA, which I'm not too crazy about. LA. I'm just not an LA person. Yeah, but I was just like, I already made up my mind. I felt, and it's like what I base a lot of my decision on my feeling. It's weird how that, of course, there has to be logic there as well, but my feeling was like, I need to be here.
But your feeling was learned through experience.
And you got to see what you're.
Yeah, it wasn't just like you're not 5. Right, you've been, you know, like when your kids like lose their mind because their feelings. Right, like your feeling was you've walked into a lot of gyms, you've experienced a lot of gyms, you've had a lot of trainers, like, so you know that's what, like, that's your feeling. There's some knowledge going into that. It's not just randomness.
I've learned to trust my gut over the years. Yeah, I'm 39 now, and yeah, the gut comes into play when I make big decisions. Sure. This was a big decision.
I mean, it was a testament to you, man, because like like before, when I had walked in, like I said, when I walked in Albuquerque and you had your whole crew there, right? Like I'm sure you were very comfortable with those people, you know, your trainers, the people that were working with you, the people you're walking to the fight with, and when you're to not bring them, like that decision, like that's not an easy decision, right? You know, because you're vulnerable.
That's your safety.
Yeah, you're walking in very vulnerable to a situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, so this is what I'm saying. Like the same thing with like the Ngannou fight, like same thing with the Curtis fight. Like it was not going well for you. Like you had devastating losses, and you choose to keep being real vulnerable because, like, man, you know how it is. What's the internet look like? What does everywhere you walk to look like after fights like that, you know?
I always had, from real early on, a big I don't care.
Right.
So
I guess Gary Vee that shit. I don't care what the people think about me, right? That's his, you know what Gary Vee is? Gary Vaynerchuk? He's a business guy. I like him.
Yeah.
You know?
So he's like a little bit blunt maybe and doesn't care. So which can also be considered rude here in the States, right?
He's Russian.
Oh, okay.
He's Russian. He's a Russian immigrant from the, you know, his parents moved here, so he's born very Russian life. So he's like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, so maybe that's a little bit the same culture. No, but yeah, internet. Who pays attention to the internet? Right?
A lot of people. What do you mean? Who pays attention to the internet?
That's their problem.
A lot of people.
That's their problem.
A lot of people. What's it say? How many comments? How many comments?
Of course. So, but even then you can filter. Like, there's always going to be haters. There's going to be. I mean, it's nice to get compliments, but don't put too much.
Well, because the other thing's coming too. The other way's coming, right? Like, if you're getting a lot of compliments, you're getting a lot of hate.
Yeah. No, but for me, it was really important to come along, figure out the energy, because and then from there we were easily talking with the coaches, like with Donovan, It started real slow, real relaxed, real organic. That was important to me. And yeah, I remember clearly he said to me, see what you can do with the people that we have here. I think we have everything, so see what you can do here first before you... and I did just that. I just saw what was there. All the people were great. You know, even physical therapy. You're missing a Yan.
Huh?
You're missing an ortho-manual therapist, Dr. Yan. But that's the only...
You fly him in, Alistair. But I have Evan Katz, chiropractor.
Yeah, great guy. Have fixed me a couple times.
Yeah.
No, so I just did just that, and you know, Cody was a little bit my connection, right? First connection, he was kind of like talk a little bit more. And yeah, I just started working with the people in the team and liked it a lot. I'm learning every session, and that to me is very important.
Yeah,
the team energy is great. You have your speeches. I listen to them always. Usually the speeches are very predictable, and it's like, oh, here we go again. Your speeches actually have depth and a message, which I've not heard in any other gym before. Right, I've training 26 years.
Sure.
It's never been yeah, it just felt good. Just kept going.
Well, I know what the backside of a fight career looks like, and it's coming for everyone.
Yes.
You know, it's coming for all of us. You know, and for me, it wasn't pretty. It was ugly, and it didn't have to be because I was very, very successful. Not in my fight career, you know, but at the time when it came for me, it got ugly, and like my schools were good, my wife was good, my kids were good. And for some reason I wasn't. Everything was good, but you were not. Everything was good, but me.
This is after you're done fighting.
After I was done fighting. Look, it was there while I was done fighting, but fighting hid it.
That disguised it.
Fighting disguised it. Like you have something to actually go get nervous about. You have something, you know, like
yeah, so. It's always the next fight, right?
Yeah, there's always, you know. But then when that
there's
ended,
a direction.
Yeah, purpose. There was purpose. And then I ended up with like, I mean, like, look, I had kids, I had a school, but what was the purpose? Like what's the goal? What am I shooting for? And I didn't know, and I crumbled. And then what got me out was purpose. So I want everyone, my goal, look, I really want you to win your next fight. You know, like Walt Harris, December 7th, right?
Yes. Just got signed.
I think Dober's on that card too.
Yeah.
Yep. So I really want you to win that one. But what I want more, what I guess what makes me feel happier is what you just said, that like I've never had a coach talk to me like the way you talk, because I think you'll remember you're already Alistair Overeem.
Well, the thing is that you know, the funny thing is that I resonate with your message because I am thinking about the same things for a long time.
Right, but you know you don't have 15 more years in this.
But I always had in mind. Let's not forget how I started. Right, I started because I did not like the 9 to 5. I can't even do it, and now I don't. Yeah. I don't have to do it, but to me that was like really terrible. And then so, and I always had that in mind. If your fighting is not going to work, then 9 to 5 is waiting for you.
Right, man. Alistair, I got super lucky, man. After my fighting didn't work, I looked at the Denver building 3 days later. Like fought Saturday night, get back to town Sunday, Tuesday, looking at the Denver space. So it just moved really well for me there.
So I love to be on the mat. You love to be on the mat.
Love it.
I can be a great coach. I love coaching. That's going to be my next thing. I figured it out. I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to become a coach. I don't know if I'm going to be a gym owner, because that's a lot of responsibility. That's back to 9 to 5, right?
Ooh,
and maybe even 9 to 9 with all the bills.
No, it's not 9 to 5. I don't work 9 to 5.
No, you don't, but
most people do.
So I always had that in mind. So that might have been a big motivating factor, right?
Yeah, but we're creating Easton Online, bro, so that gym owners, so that school owners can see how to not work 9 to 5. Like it's this other project it's like my little baby project right now, where show people how we do it, so that there's no such thing as a 9 to 5. Yeah.
No. So in my case, I'll probably open up a concept or team up with somebody. I will become a coach. I will do my 3-4 hours a day. I see myself doing that 6 hours a day. Why? I have a lot of knowledge. I love to be on the mat. It's not even love to be on the mat. And you know, even when I'm training now with teammates, I just love to think with them.
Yeah, man, you're great. You're great. I watch you. You know, like even the other day, Zach got hurt, and you're like, okay, man, let's work. You know?
No.
You didn't let him go over there and sulk. You know, and Zach's nobody.
Zach is a friend,
right? But he's nobody. You know, he's a normal guy. He's not.
A friend.
You don't need to help him.
He's a friend. That's right.
I get it. But this is like what I'm saying. This is why you work with us. You know, because he's a 30-year-old guy who wife and a kid trying to make it in MMA. And I think we've all been there. Like you've been that. You weren't 30 at the time, but you've been the guy trying to make it in MMA.
But you remember the people that are there for you, right? Mm-hmm. I still remember that the people that were there for me when I was 15 years old, they're still there. Great people. So that's, you know, you find them, the good people, and you feel comfortable with them. You hang around them, right?
This is what's important. You know, like people in our lives. Because you can't do it alone.
Don't do that with the wrong people.
No, so I don't, and I say it all the time, I don't believe in self-made. It doesn't exist in my mind. No one's self-made.
Correct.
You know, I don't care what you did, and I don't care how little help you had. There's no such thing. People helped you.
You must find the right people in life. That's actually a big life lesson. You have to find the right people. If you're finding the wrong people, your life goes down. If you're finding the right people, your life goes up. The things that you want to achieve will work.
It comes back to your circle, right?
Yeah.
Like how big's your circle? How many people would you say your circle is?
My circle?
Yeah.
It's not too big.
Yeah, give me a number.
Maybe 5 to 10.
5 to 10? Yeah. Mine's small too. Mine's 5, yeah. But it's easier for yours to get bigger because everyone wants in on your circle.
Well, and you know, I'm friendly. I became a little bit more open and a little bit more accessible when I moved to the States, because before that I was not accessible, or less accessible, let me put it that way. So I know a lot of people, but your real circle is
how long has your circle been your circle?
Well, my best buddy has been my best buddy since 6, 7.
Who's that? Remco. Okay.
Yeah, 32 years now, 33 years.
Yeah. So you knew him, Holland, growing up as a kid.
We were actually in school.
Okay.
And then, so I was, it's a funny story. So my brother was a little bit difficult. So he was placed on a difficult kids school, what do you call that? And then I once visited him, and I liked that school so much. So I told my mother, hey, I want to be on this school as well. So I was placed on a school while I was not that difficult. And Remco was also difficult. Had a difficult period. He's a late bloomer, and that's how we were classmates. And we actually got into a fight first, and then we became best friends. And he actually his parents pulled him from that school.
Okay.
Put him in a normal school.
Did he live close to you?
What is it? 20, 30 minutes on the bicycle. In Holland, we do everything on a bicycle.
And that was okay. You guys were able to stay friends. 20, 30 minutes on a bike.
Okay, when you're 7, you're not doing that yet. Right. So sometimes you would go there with your parents, that kind of stuff. And then we were out of touch, let's say a couple of years. And then, so let's say we're in touch 7 to 9, 7 to 10. Mm-hmm. Then we were out of touch. And then we were 13. Then we were in touch again. He actually was in his middle school. So what do you call that?
Middle school. We call it middle school.
I think.
How old?
13.
13. You're about to start high school.
Yeah, so high school, and his high school was close to my place, my house. So then we got in touch again.
But you left at 15 to go to Japan, or you left at 17?
No, 19 was
19. Okay, got it.
Yeah, 19. I quit school. I totally dedicated myself to the sport, and then it went real fast. I had that stand-in fight against Ricardo Viet, who was like a scary badass when you see him. But I beat him quick and 1-minute guillotine choke. And then after that came
Overeem.
Yeah, doesn't work anymore. So and then the fight offer for Japan came very quick after that. I think 2 or 3 weeks after. Yeah, and then it started. Got a contract in Japan, and just kept going.
What's every night look like for you? Like you're done. What do you do
when I'm finished with fighting?
Oh yeah, at night. What'd you do last night?
I went to bed early. Okay. I actually picked up Danielle and my 2 daughters, and
they came from Holland, or they came
from Holland. She was doing the kids. I was doing groceries for them, for everybody, and then call it a night. I went to bed at like 8 or 9.
How about tonight? Like, what do you do? What do you do at night? You know,
I go to bed early.
You go to bed early?
Yeah, Yeah, in the morning I detox. In the afternoon I train and I do
what do you mean
recovery.
Detox? What's that mean?
A lot of water.
Okay.
A lot of water. A lot of toilet.
Do you
some
fast?
Breathing exercises, some other injury prevention exercises. I do not fast.
Okay.
No, I don't cut weight.
Yeah, but not cut weight, but like I intermittent fast. And then I don't eat a meal normally until about noon.
Yeah, so I have an interest in that subject, but I think for me right now, because I have to train, I have to be fit, and then when you don't eat, you have less energy. I mean, they say energy is high, but it's just I don't think that is.
Okay.
I
feel better eating.
Yeah, I need food.
Do you eat first before you train?
Yes.
I
2 meals.
Oh, I hate 2 meals before you train.
2 meals.
Damn.
Yeah.
How many calories do you think you eat a day?
I don't calculate in calories. I calculate in what's healthy and what's not.
Okay.
What works on my body and what doesn't.
So you don't worry about so you'll eat as much as you want. Don't care.
As much as you want.
Healthy.
5-6 meals a day, ideally. Healthy, perfect healthy things.
Right. Man. What else, man? What else? What is it like, man? Like so you're a huge star wherever you go. It's not like, like some of the champions here, right? Like let's say TJ or Cejudo, right? They're very famous in America, probably, but you've moved past that. You have like Conor level a little bit, right? Like every country you go to,
yeah.
What you talked about staying grounded. You talked about staying humble. But this has got to be work. You're not religious. You just talked about like some breathing exercises. Like, is that part of your like staying grounded? No, or do you do the breathing exercises for physical performance?
It's not meditation. It's purely because I want my diaphragm and my lungs to be strong. Okay. And especially, come back to Denver. I'm just thinking about that first practice. So yeah. No, yeah, being humble. I know, and if you look at 30-30, what's that called again? 30-30. That have you ever seen 30-30? And then I think it's called 30-30 broke.
Oh, ESPN.
Yes.
30 for 30.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when they did all those athletes and they lost all their money.
Yeah.
Bernie Kosar and all those guys. Yeah.
Very informative. I have a couple of interests. So there's human history, human psychology. And, I want to have a good life, a best life experience. So you're just looking at the booby traps all the time. And I think that, if you're not humble, and listen, I have my moments too, but in general, I try to kind of keep it good. If you're not humble, you're going to go down. And I've already experienced that in my, I've already been fighting for a long time. After like a long winning streak, that kind of also got to my head, and then you crash down again. So now I just keep it humble anyway.
It's fucking hard for it not to go to your head, right? Like it's not like you're playing ping pong over there and you're the best ping pong player.
I think it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Right. If you're winning and you can see it all around you, right?
Right.
So. Oh.
But it's not ping pong. Like you're winning it, beating the shit out of somebody.
Yeah, and of course the risk reward, everything is high, right? There's just more at stake.
And that does something to the psyche, right? That does something to the psyche.
But even ping pong players, if they keep winning,
of course, sure, basketball, every sport, but this sport seems to do it the biggest.
No, I don't think so. I think there's other sports, right? There's other soccer players who make tons of money, and they if you're not in control, you're gonna go down, right? You gotta stay humble.
I'm saying the high of this sport. The high of this sport is very, very high.
Yeah, but maybe also because it's individual sport,
right?
If you have like soccer, which is like huge, or basketball is huge, it's a team performance.
Do you think? Okay, so you think Jordan Burroughs gets as high as we do when we win? Jordan Burroughs is gold medal wrestler.
Oh, he's wrestler.
Olympic champion. It's just so it's not.
So for him it is a less audience, but
right. Or Roger Federer. How about Roger Federer? You think he gets as high?
Absolutely.
You think so, huh?
I do.
You think that moment when Wimbledon's over, you think it's the same? I do not think it's the same. Whew.
I think it is the same.
Right.
I think it's the same. It's just a different sport, different technique, different everything. But I definitely think, I mean, amazing performance, right? I watch tennis, not too often, but I have.
Oh, he's amazing. He's the best tennis player ever, right?
Yeah.
He's the best.
No, I think definitely he has a high, right? Or,
I think he has a high. I'm not saying he doesn't have a high.
A high.
But is it? I think it's a high. I don't think it was the same when you knocked out Bonjowski, you know, for the K-1 World Grand Prix.
That was Badahari, by the way.
Badahari, sorry, you know? And you guys didn't like each other, right? You don't like each other.
Nah, there's respect.
Yeah, there's respect, but you don't like each other.
There's
animosity.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
So, like, here it is in, like, the title fight of all title fights for K-1. Kill or be killed, you know? Somebody's probably going to the hospital at the end of this, maybe both of us. You know? Look, man, when Federer beats Nadal in the final, high five. All right.
Yeah.
It's great.
But still, it's a world performance. A lot of people all over the world are watching.
Yeah. I'm just trying to antagonize you a little bit, you know? Like, just to...
No, and listen, even World Cup, like Holland, when they win...
Yeah.
It is, I mean, of course those guys are euphoric.
Sure.
Right? The whole country, everything. Sure. So I think it's similar. It's similar.
All right. Well, shit, man. I know you got to train. I got to go to therapy.
What time is it?
It's 11:30.
Oh. Therapy?
Therapy every week, man. Wednesday at noon. Don't miss.
You do not miss.
I do not miss.
Because?
Because it's what keeps me okay. It helps keep me okay. I have a lot of people grabbing at me, touching, you know what I mean? Like,
that's when you're a coach, right?
7 schools.
You gotta. That's a big difference, I think. As a fighter, you're a taker, and as a coach, you're a giver.
Yeah, but 7. So it's not just the fighters, you know. 7 schools, employees, you know, a couple thousand students underneath of us, like people, you know. So I a wife, a kid, 2 kids, right? Like wife, kids, mom, dad, all this other, you know. So people, all the time. So I have to go get that out.
So this is your outlet then?
This is my outlet.
Because you're not competing anymore?
No, it's not that. Because for me, it's my thoughts that go bad. So I have to I go verbalize my thoughts in therapy.
So what thoughts go bad exactly? I'm trying to understand. Because I do not have the same. I'm a very optimistic...
I will circle a thought around in my head. Like my arguments with people. Like the little things that come up through the day. You know? Wife shit. Business partner shit, employee shit, fighter shit, friend shit, you know? And when it just stays in your mind, you can twist that. You can twist that what if until time ends. So I go and I get that out of my mind. You know?
So I'm half Jamaican, and I really feel the Jamaican side.
You what?
Like relax,
yeah.
Don't worry about stuff.
Yeah. And some people have it.
And I've been in some difficult times, and I never really sweat.
Yeah, it's the nature. It's the nature of us, right? It's my DNA.
Yeah.
You know, I think personally it comes from the Holocaust surviving grandparents. You know, like that nervousness that it's always going to go south. Because that's what I grew up with.
So, and I think exactly opposite. So, and that's like really ingrained in me. Like it's gonna be just fine. I do realize I have to put in the work. I have to put in best effort, and then it's gonna be just fine. I always had that little voice.
So yeah, so my little voice to me always was Hitler's coming again.
It's coming, but you go to this lady or this and then you don't have it, so you're dealing with it.
Yeah, I deal with it. I put in the work because I know where my nature goes. So I have to go fight against my nature, and I've learned how to do that. You know, so that I can find my own power. You know, because I think we all have it. It and mine. Well, I wasn't able to show mine in the cage. You know, I was not emotionally and mentally and spiritually okay enough to shine in that and during that time. But I think I've figured it out to a point, or I'm in the process of figuring out where I can help other people do that when it's their time to shine. And, you know, I try to shine in this other way. That's what it is. So, thanks, man.
Thanks for having me, Eliot.
Coming on.
Boom.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. That's it. I don't need to tell you how to follow Alistair Overeem. That's easy.
Not?
But man, if you're enjoying the podcast, go on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, wherever you listen. Give a subscribe, give a review. I would greatly appreciate it. That's it, guys. See you next time.